Welcome to Chappy's Tiki Bar. I'm Chappy and this is Mookie. We got a great episode today. We got Appies with Chappy by the lake. We're going to do a shout out, and we haven't done this in a while. We're going to do best tropical destination stories. First up, I'm going to make a drink. I call this a Dr. Chappy. It's meant to taste like Dr. Pepper, and it's my own concoction. So I just have a glass full of ice. And the secret ingredient is brown sugar bourbon. All the spices and smells is reminiscent of Dr. Pepper. So we're going to go 3/4 ounce of brown sugar bourbon. And then I have some root beer seltzer. It's a New York root beer seltzer. These little bottles have about 10 ounces. So we'll probably just go the full 10 ounces. And then we're just going to finish it off with your favorite cola. It's mostly just for color because the seltzer is clear. And that, my friends, is a Dr. Chappy. So I said I was going to do a shout out. Now this is not for a YouTube channel. This shout out goes to an actual hero and an actual real life cowboy. At the time of filming this was right around the Calgary Stampede. It's a huge rodeo in Calgary, and my shout out goes to Shane Smith. I was watching him live the other night doing the calf roping competition. If you're not familiar with rodeo, let me just go over what the calf roping entails. Okay, so technically it's called tie-down roping, and the cowboy and his partner recreate one of ranching's oldest tasks, roping and tying an animal. Speed, skill, and finesse are key in this event. The cowboy waits on horseback behind the rope barrier. When he gives the nod, the calf is released and gets a 10-foot head start. The cowboy must quickly rope the calf, dismount on the run to reach it, turn it on its side, tie 3 of its legs. Time is called when the cowboy throws up his hands in the air and the calf is immediately released. So basically the Calgary Stampede's getting a hard time from animal rights activists and PETA. This year our parade marshal was the one and only Kevin Costner, famous for cowboy movies, and they were trying to get him to bow out of being parade marshal. So I just want to tell this story to shed some light on the Calgary Stampede. So again, my shout out's going to Shane Smith. So he was in the qualifying round the day before the tie-down finals. And I was watching this live on TV. All the Calgary Stampede events are shown up here in Canada. It's kind of a big deal. This year, it's a 10-day event, and this year on the grounds they got 1.2 million people. So the Calgary Stampede's great for our economy, for one thing. So anyways, Shane Smith's in this competition. He's trying to get into the finals. So he gives the nod. They shoot the calf out. He successfully ropes the calf, but his horse stepped on the rope, and without even thinking, in a split second, he jumps off his horse. He cuts the rope, basically disqualifying himself in order to prevent any harm to come to his horse. His main concern and his main instinct was just to protect the safety of his horse, and so he was basically disqualified from the finals. The prize money was $50,000, so he basically gave up a chance at $50,000 because he didn't want to injure his horse. So to me, that's a true Canadian hero, a real cowboy, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. Again, the Calgary Stampede's great for our suffering economy. Just to mention another Albertan, there's a country western singer named Katie Lange, and she is from Alberta. This was a number of years ago, but she came out with this ad campaign that beef stinks. So she wanted, I guess she's a vegetarian, and she didn't want people to eat beef, which is another big part of our economy. We got a lot of ranchers, and Alberta is one of the most famous beef producers in the world. Again, big part of our economy. And if you've ever had a steak that's Alberta beef, you'll know it's the highest quality beef. So anyways, like, she's a country western singer. She makes a lot of her money off of cowboys, and she really milks the cowboy persona. And it's fine if she wants to tell people how to live, but on her album cover, she's actually wearing a leather jacket. So I don't know, you can tell people how to live, but don't wear a leather jacket on your album cover with the cowboy persona when you're telling people not to eat beef that comes from ranchers. But I digress. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Shane Smith at the Calgary Stampede. He did the right thing. He didn't get $50,000, but he didn't injure his horse, and he just basically demonstrated that he's a great guy and a true Canadian hero and a real cowboy. All right, we haven't done this in a while. I call this segment Best Tropical Destination Stories. So if you have any tropical destination stories that you'd like me to read on my show, just send them to chappiness@yahoo.com. And it doesn't really have to be a tropical destination story. It can be a holiday story. It can be a drinking story. Any good story. Basically send me anything and I'll read it on my show. So what do you think of that, Mookie? So I know I'm getting on with the story. So this tropical destination story is my own story, of course, and it brings us all the way out to Bermuda. I was working on the cruise ships, and we were doing the New York City Bermuda run. It was by far my favorite run. I was working in the gift shop at the time. It was actually the second ship I had ever worked on. It was the Dreamward. I was working in the liquor store. And this was a fantastic job because due to international laws, the liquor store had to be closed when we were in port. So we'd leave New York City on a Saturday. We'd dock in Bermuda for 3 days. We were docked for 3 days. So I basically had 3 days off in Bermuda every week. And that went on for 26 weeks. So it was basically the best 26 weeks of my life. So anyways, I'm working in the liquor store. And my friend Jillian from England was working in the men's fashion store where they rented tuxedos for formal night. And this guy came in the liquor store and he said, "Oh, I was just in the other store and your friend Jillian sent me over. She said you're from Canada." And he goes, "My name's Mike. I'm from Canada. It's great to meet you." And we just chatted for a little bit. And then so it was just kind of weird. Coincidentally, every time I was in port, I'd bump into Mike, and he was the most friendliest guy in the world, like just super friendly. But and it was just weird. Every time I went somewhere, he was right there, and he always came over and shook my hand. And yeah, that's true. He always came over and shook my hand, and he just like the friendliest guy in the world, and introduced me to his wife. He remembered my name. He always said, "Hi, Chad. How's it going? How's your day going?" And just like so personable, like basically just like it just seemed a little weird how friendly he was. So, anyways, it was a week-long cruise. The end of the cruise, of course, he comes into my store and just comes in and thanks me. And he said he had such a wonderful time on the cruise, and it was so great to meet me. Shook my hand for like the 100th time, and then he gave me this. So this is his playing card. I didn't realize it was the one and only Mike Pinball Clemmons. He's one of the most famous CFL players in Canadian football history. And And the whole time I'm hanging out with him, I didn't realize he was an actual celebrity. I'll put his card up there. I'll just read some of his accomplishments. So Mike Pinball Clemmons, he was a running back and return specialist. And again, he was like one of the greatest players in CFL history. And the reason they called him Pinball, of course, is because he would just do these running plays where he just bounce off guys. And they actually, after a big play, they would play the song Pinball Wizard by The Who. And then he went on to coach the Argos. He was the president of the Argos. Some of his accomplishments, he won 3 Grey Cups. In 1990, he was the most outstanding player in the CFL. He was the first black head coach to go to the Grey Cup and the first black head coach to win the Grey Cup. He had 5,232 career rushing yards, 7,015 pass reception yards, 610 punt return yards, 8 touchdown punt returns, 6,349 kickoff return yards, and he was inducted into the CFL Hall of Fame in 2008, and he had his number 31 retired for the Toronto Argonauts. Yeah, and as far as I can see, he was the nicest man on the face of the earth. So that's my best tropical destination story. And again, if you have any tropical destination stories or any kind of holiday story, just send them to me. I'll read them on my show. It'd be much appreciated. And send them to chappiness@yahoo.com. So coming up next, I'm going to have some ground turkey tacos for Appies with Chappy by the lake. So check it out. Aloha! Welcome to Appies with Chappy by the lake. I just flew in from Cuba and boy are my arms tired. So for the appetizer today I have a ground turkey taco. And of course we need a beverage to go with our appetizer. So I'm going to make a Mundo Perdido. This was created exclusively for Smuggler's Cove by Jeff Beachbum Barry himself in 2009. A trusty cocktail shaker here. Add a little ice. 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon. And then 1/4 ounce of cinnamon syrup. Check out my Chicago episode. I make my own cinnamon syrup in that episode. And then 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup. And 1/2 ounce of apple brandy. Oh, it looks like this is made in my hometown of Calgary, Alberta from the OClaire Distillery. It says, handcrafted in small batches, each bottle exudes the fragrance of fresh BC apples with a deep and warm French oak taste, combining the maturity of a brown spirit with the youthful flavors of Okanagan apples. It says, distilled and matured and bottled in Alberta, Canada. Oh, and it even has a batch number. All right, and then finally, 1 1/2 ounce of black blended rum. We'll give that a shaky. All right, and I just have a short glass today, and we're gonna double strain that. I think I'll put 1 ice cube in there. So 1 ice cube, and then we're just gonna double strain that. And that's a Mundo Perdido to go with my ground turkey taco. Alright, and that concludes another episode of Chappy's Tiki Bar. Make sure you hit the notification bell. We have a new episode every Friday. This is Chappy saying life is hard, that's just the way it goes, but sometimes it goes the other way. See you next time on Chappy's Tiki Bar.